To understand why a healthy engine fails, we must first strip away the chest wall. When we study the anatomy of the heart, we see a muscle that works harder. It demands more oxygen than almost any other tissue to function properly every single day. To get that oxygen, it relies on a network of vessels wrapped around it. Early anatomists thought these vessels looked like a crown, which is where coronary comes from, but I want you to think of them as the root system of a massive tree. If one of those major roots is severed, the branch it supports dies almost instantly. We have two main players here, known as the right and left coronary arteries. The left branches into a massive vessel called the left anterior descending artery, or LAD. In the emergency room, we have a grim nickname for this specific and vital vessel. They call it the Widowmaker, because the reason for this name is simple geometry. The LAD supplies blood to the entire front and bottom of the left ventricle. The left ventricle is the main pumping chamber responsible for keeping your whole body alive. If you block a small twig on this system, you might only lose a leaf. But if you block the trunk, the whole tree falls and your heart stops pumping. This leads to massive tissue death that occurs so rapidly that many victims never recover. But how does such a dangerous blockage form in someone who exercises every single day? To understand this mystery, we must look at the vessel wall and its health. A healthy artery is flexible and supple, like a brand new rubber garden hose inside. The inside lining is called the tunica intima, and in a perfect world, it is smooth. It should be smooth like Teflon, allowing blood cells to slide right past without friction. But life is not perfect, and over many decades, factors like high blood pressure hit. High blood sugar and smoking act like sandpaper on this delicate and protective inner coating. Even the sheer mechanical stress of high-volume blood flow during exercise causes trouble. Decades of intense physical exertion can cause microscopic scratches and tiny tears in the lining. This is where the trouble begins as your body tries to repair these small wounds. It sends LDL cholesterol to the site like spackle to patch a hole in a wall. Then the immune system sends white blood cells to inspect the repair and they consume it. These cells turn into foam cells and eventually harden into a mixture of waste products. This hardened mixture of cholesterol and calcium is what we call plaque or chronic atherosclerosis. This condition develops silently over decades without you ever feeling a single symptom of pain. You might believe you are in the best shape of your life while plaque grows. Because your body is so good at adapting, it masks the danger until the end. Understanding this biological process is the first step in taking control of your future health. We must look past the surface to see the ticking time bombs hidden within us. The reality of heart disease is far different from the common myths we often hear. Now we must address the massive misconception that gets people killed every single year. Most people imagine plaque buildup like a slow clog in a common bathroom sink drain. They think the pipe gets narrower and narrower until one day the water just stops. They assume they will feel it happening as they get short of breath or pain. That is logically sound, but it is actually biologically incorrect for the human body. Your heart and your arteries are incredibly adaptive as the plaque begins to grow. As the plaque grows, the artery wall actually stretches outward to accommodate the new mass. This fascinating biological response is known as positive remodeling in the field of medicine today. It means you can have a massive amount of plaque, but the tube stays open. The opening for blood flow remains 100% clear, and your heart functions normally. Because the blood is still getting through, you have normal blood flow and zero symptoms. You can run a 10-kilometer race and feel fantastic despite the hidden danger within. This is why the first symptom of heart disease for 50% of men is death. For 64% of women, the first sign of a problem is sudden death. They feel completely fine until the very second they don't and the heart stops beating. So you might wonder what flips the switch and turns silent plaque into a tragedy. It comes down to the stability of the plaque deposit within your arterial wall today. Imagine that plaque deposit is like a blister covered by a very thin skin layer. This is what doctors call soft plaque, which is filled with very dangerous inflammatory gunk. If you experience a sudden spike in blood pressure, the thin skin can easily tear. Extreme physical exertion can cause a plaque rupture, releasing contents into the active bloodstream. The body panics because it sees this rupture as a massive open wound inside you. It immediately sends platelets to clot the blood and stop the perceived internal bleeding now. This is the moment when a silent condition becomes a fatal and sudden cardiac event. In a matter of minutes, that clot grows so large it seals off the artery. It is not the slow buildup that killed the flow, but the sudden clot formation. It acts like a cork in a wine bottle, and blood flow hits a wall. This is a type 1 myocardial infarction, which can happen to even the fittest athletes. Understanding these hidden risks allows us to look for better ways to protect our lives. Now let us look at how the heart behaves when the demand exceeds the supply. The moment of rupture and the athlete's dilemma. Imagine that thin skin covering the silent plaque tearing open like a blister. The body panics because it sees this rupture as a massive open wound. It immediately sends platelets to clot the blood to stop the perceived bleeding. This is exactly what you want if you cut your finger today. But inside your coronary artery, this defense mechanism becomes a very deadly trap. In minutes, that clot grows so large it completely seals the blood path. It is not the slow buildup of plaque that killed the flow today. Instead, it is the sudden, rapid formation of a massive blood clot inside. It acts like a cork in a wine bottle, and blood hits a wall. This is what medical professionals call a type 1 myocardial infarction event. If you find this breakdown of heart mechanics useful for your own health, please comment the number 1 below so we know to keep sharing this. But there is another scenario that often strikes endurance athletes pushing their limits. This is the type 2 myocardial infarction, which works through a different biology. Consider a 50-year-old disciplined runner named Robert with normal cholesterol levels. While running a race, he does not feel any crushing chest pain. He just feels weird as his energy drops, and he feels very lightheaded. He thinks he is dehydrated, but his heart cells are actually dying fast. At the hospital, doctors find a protein called troponin in his blood now. Think of troponin like the liquid inside a common plastic glow stick today. As long as the plastic casing is intact, the liquid stays safely inside. But if you snap the stick, it leaks out into the world forever. Heart muscle cells are full of troponin, and they leak when they die. Robert is having a heart attack with only 50% blockage present today. This is a supply and demand problem occurring deep in the heart muscle. While sitting on a couch, a 50% blockage is mostly quite irrelevant. The hose is crimped, but enough water gets through to the green grass. But Robert's heart rate spikes. His heart demands a fire hose volume. The crimped artery can only deliver a small garden hose worth of blood. This creates ischemia as the heart muscle starts to suffocate without oxygen. In Robert's case, there was an extra factor called atrial fibrillation, or AFib. Your heart runs on an electrical grid, creating a coordinated and strong squeeze. In AFib, the top chambers stop beating and start quivering in chaos. This electrical mess ruins the timing of the heart's essential and rhythmic pumping. If you combine a partial blockage with the rapid heartbeat of AFib today, you create the perfect storm where the heart cannot sustain the required pace. The 70% threshold and the secret backup system. This highlights the 70% threshold for feeling physical symptoms of heart disease. Generally, you will not feel chest pain, chodenhi. An artery is blocked. Below that, mark your heart is very good at compensating for the loss. Above that mark, you might feel tightness when walking up the steep stairs. We call this stable angina, which is like your body's check engine light. But remember, most heart attacks occur with less than 50% blockage present. Soft plaques are more prone to popping than the big stable ones today. If you cannot feel the danger, is there any good news for us? Your heart has a secret backup system called collateral circulation for extra safety. Think of your main arteries as interstates carrying very heavy traffic loads daily. If a jam persists for years, your heart paves new and small streets. This Tao, a natural bypass system to get blood around any blockage. Exercise like zone high and high-intensity training builds this essential network. This is why a 70-year-old might survive a very massive event. The older heart had time to build detours through many active years. In a younger person, the rupture is sudden and the highway shuts down. There are no side streets yet and no way around the total blockage. Exercise builds the network that buys you time when you need it most. And time is the only currency that matters in the emergency room today. We always say that time is muscle tissue in the medical field now. Irreversible damage begins in 20 minutes and turns into permanent scar tissue fast. Scar tissue does not pump, which leaves the heart permanently weakened for life. You must recognize the symptoms to save the muscle before it dies forever. Do not ignore the signs because your life depends on your rapid reaction. recognizing the signs and restoring the flow. To save the heart muscle, you must recognize the subtle and quiet signs. Men usually experience what we call the classic Hollywood heart attack symptoms today. They feel intense chest pressure and sharp pain down the left arm often. But for women, the signs are much more insidious and very quiet indeed. They feel extreme fatigue or a sudden shortness of breath during simple activity. Even intense acid reflux or a sense of doom is a real sign. If you feel these symptoms, you must seek medical help immediately right now. If you find this information life-saving for you or your entire family, please subscribe to Senior Max 1 for more proactive heart health content today. By joining us, you help spread this vital medical knowledge to everyone everywhere. Do not ignore a sudden sense of doom because it is very real. Fixing the plumbing is the next step if the vessel finally fails. Cardiologists perform a procedure called a PCI to restore the blood flow path. They thread a thin tube through your wrist to find the jam fast. Using a special dye, they locate the site of the blockage very clearly. They then inflate a balloon to smash the plaque away forever right now. Then they deploy a stent, which is a metal mesh scaffold for life. It holds the artery open forever to ensure blood flows freely again now. Standard blood work only tells you the ingredients in your bloodstream now. It does not tell you if they are actually sticking to the walls. You need better data to find the fire before the whole house burns. Finding the hidden culprit requires a specific and strategic screening approach for everyone. If you find this strategy useful, please comment the words Max 1 below. We want to ensure you have the best tools to protect your heart. The first tool is the Coronary Calcium Score, or the CAC score scan. It is a 5-minute scan that looks for hardened calcium in vessels. A score of 0 is perfect, but over 400 is a bomb. This hardened calcium is like the old soot found in a chimney today. It shows you the history of the damage done to your arterial walls. Knowing this number is the first step to knowing your true risk. The next vital scan is the CT angiogram, which is the ultimate system. This technology allows doctors to see the soft and very unstable plaque deposits. These are the invisible and inflammatory blisters that have not yet hardened now. These are the most prone to popping and causing a sudden cardiac event. A CT angiogram gives you the full map of your internal plumbing system. Do not guess about your health when you can truly know for sure. The healthy heart attack is almost always a tragic result of deep ignorance. You must control your blood pressure to stop the mechanical tearing of vessels. Manage your blood sugar levels to prevent inflammation and keep your body moving. Exercise builds the collateral circulation that buys you time if a rupture occurs. Do not rely on how you feel as your only health metric today. Use the technology we have to see the truth about your heart. Zone 2 and high-intensity interval training are your best allies for growth. These activities force your heart to pave those essential detour streets for blood. This secret backup system is what allows a survivor to live another day. Protect the lining of your arteries by avoiding factors like smoking and stress. Your body is an incredible machine that deserves the best maintenance possible now. Stay vigilant and stay proactive to ensure your engine runs for life. We have seen how a healthy engine can fail without any warning signs. Your heart is a master of adaptation that can mask significant arterial blockages. Biology does not care about your intentions or how fast you can run. It only cares about the mechanical integrity of your internal vessel walls today. We have explored the widowmaker and the hidden blisters of soft plaque deposits. Understanding these mechanisms is the foundation for a much longer and healthier life. The greatest lesson is that time is the only currency in heart health. Irreversible damage begins in 20 minutes and turns into permanent scar tissue fast. Recognizing symptoms like extreme fatigue or a sense of doom can save you. Do not ignore the signals your body sends, even if they seem minor. Proactive screening and consistent exercise build the detours your heart might eventually need. Take charge of your biology before a silent condition becomes a loud tragedy. Please remember that all the information shared here is for your reference only. These insights are intended for education and cannot replace professional medical advice today. This content is not a substitute for the diagnosis of a licensed doctor. If you have any health concerns, you must go to a hospital immediately. Our channel is a place for reference and not a substitute for experts. Follow the advice of your personal physician to manage your health safely. Thank you for joining us on this vital journey into your heart health. We hope these insights empower you to make informed choices for your future. Please comment the word health below so our lives get better together now. Share your thoughts on your current health in the comments section below today. Your stories and your progress inspire us to keep sharing this life-saving knowledge. We will see you in the next exploration of human biology and science. Managing your heart is a lifelong commitment that requires both action and data. Do not rely on feeling fine as your only metric for heart health success. Use the screening tools and lifestyle changes we discussed to protect your arteries. Your future self will thank you for being vigilant and proactive about biology. Stay curious about how your body works and keep learning with us here. Together, we can build a community that values long-term health and wellness.